Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kibblings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. Happy June, Donnie! Happy Nintendo Direct Month! How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk with you. I haven't talked to you and it feels like in forever. I don't know why, but this week just seems like it dragged on a lot. And yeah, I'm excited for June. I've been up all morning. That's probably played into it. My wife went to go see her sister, so she went off to the airport and everything this morning. So just me and the kids and the animals.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a gaming day for you today?
Yeah, I think so. I got nothing else to do. So
yeah. What are you playing? You better be playing Thousand Year Door.
I have.
Okay.
I have not played as much as I would have liked to.
Same.
Because I was sick all week.
Oh no.
Which hilariously didn't stop me from podcasting at all.
It never does.
I podcasted Sunday, Wednesday. I filled in for Delvin on PlayStation Experience Friday night. So, but I haven't been playing a whole lot of things. I've been buying things. I've been enjoying things until this morning. My wife, in her brain, her flight was at 10. So she was off to the airport at like 5. I was
oh my goodness.
so early. So I've been up since like 6:30. So like I made breakfast and I sat down, and today I sat down and I played Thousand Year Door like up until like we just went live here from just a few moments ago. I've been playing. So I made it to the Great Tree. That's where I'm at now.
Like
and,
chapter 2?
I think sure.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, I finished up that one this week, and I started chapter 3, which is okay. So people told me I was gonna really like chapter 3, and I haven't gotten far in it yet, but I got far enough to know that it's the chapter about wrestling or whatever. You're in a ring. Yeah. I'm like, why would people say that? I don't like wrestling, so like I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind, but I got a little busy this week. I really like chapter 2 with the Great Tree and all of the little punies. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
I kept calling them Pikmin because they kind of reminded me of Pikmin.
Yeah,
they have like the little thing.
The paper Zelda stuff has always like been there. You could clearly like swap out characters here and be like, this is like a Zelda game. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would not mind Paper Zelda, but like, I wonder if like if you're Nintendo, you have to think they've at least prototyped or thought of the idea. I don't know if I like the idea of like turn-based combat for like a whole Zelda game.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's like it's just a little slow. You know, like even playing Paper Mario, like I do love it. And I am really appreciative of like the glow up that the game has visually. You know, it was beautiful then, but like here on the Switch, it's
so beautiful.
Gorgeous. It's so nice. Beautiful. But with all that said, it's so slow.
I disagree respectfully. I think I really like the battle aspects of it. Whenever I'm like back in Rogueport, I'm like, okay, when am I getting back out on the field to do battles?
I do like the action parts, like, right? You know, you still have to do your stylish hits, your jump hits. Like there is still action there, and you could see that being like a Link thing where if you hit a certain action, like he does the sword spin or the slash or a backflip or a guard. So like I get that. It's just with that and the dialogue and stuff. I am finding it now. Here I am, what feels like 20 years later, and I'm just like, I don't remember it being this slow. Like some of these conversations, just like, oh my God,
there is a lot of dialogue. I think that the dialogue is more of a culprit for the slowness than the the battling,
for sure. But there's I'm already to the point where I'm like trying to dodge people. I'm like, no, like I'm trying to get somewhere. Get out of my way.
I don't know if this was in the original or not, but you do get a badge after chapter 2 where and it doesn't cost any BP to use, where it's kind of like Earthbound, where if you run into the weaker enemies and like you hit them, it automatically defeats them.
Yeah,
So
no,
like you still get the coins for it.
yeah, I think that was there from the get-go. I gotta get that badge, and I've got a lot of badges, and that's also part of. Are you using a guide or anything?
No, so far I got stuck at one point. I asked my friend who it's his favorite game. He's my guide.
Nice, nice. I am using a shard guide
Okay.
because I'm trying to get as many badges as I can.
Oh,
right?
I am like so, the way that like once I found out that if you go behind like a bush, there could be a crystal shard
That's
there
like
or
the best thing
whatever.
about the game for me.
I cannot leave any bush unturned. Like I am like whacking
Every
everything. I'm
tree.
going behind
Yeah.
everything. Like that's why it's taken me so
Have
long
you
to
opened
play
up Rogueport,
this.
the left and the right side, and all
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
it's
Well,
so
I did
good.
that too early. So here's a complaint of mine. So after I beat chapter 2, I did everything with the tree or whatever. The guy calls me and says your contact lens has come in. Like
Yeah.
it's here. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I go and I get it and I take it to the lady and she's like, okay, you can go to the left now. So then I thought that I was supposed to do something to progress the game in the left side. It's like, okay, there's a train, you need a ticket. I'm like, where do I get the train ticket? And then I talked to everybody, I explored everything, and I couldn't figure it out. So I asked my friend, I'm like, hey, how do I get the train ticket? He's like, I don't think you're far enough for the train ticket
Like,
yet.
you don't.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, I talked to everyone. What am I supposed to do? And he's like, okay, well, you got to go to this guy's house and talk to him. I'm like, okay. So I go there and I talk to him and he like doesn't do anything to progress the story. And so I show my friend and he's like, "Oh, like you didn't do something you were supposed to do yet." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like I've talked to every single person." So turns out that I explored like all of the places that I could explore in the underground of Rogueport before I talked to Frankly again.
Yeah.
And so talking to Frankly is the thing that like sets off the thing to make something happen. And basically like I had to go back and redo what I did.
Yep. Yep. I was using a shard guide because you can buy badges with them, and I know that they're everywhere. Like you don't see them. You're right. They're behind every bush. They're behind every pillar, every box, between grates, between houses. And that is like the best thing about Paper Mario is that he can squeeze and fit and go flat into every little nook and cranny, and
Mhm.
they really hide and chalk so much stuff in there. So I am using that like as I play through. I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for where things are, so I can pick them up, so I can set up my badges. And I'm already like, I need like 10 badge points to deploy all the badges that I want to deploy. Like I'm
Mhm.
already like, I need more badges.
Well, I still have been upgrading only badge points when I
Smart.
level up. I
Yeah.
have not put points into
At
anything
all.
else.
To anything else?
No, nothing.
I
Not
did use one for
flower.
yeah, flower power, yeah.
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 Well, I have found badges that increase
Of
flower and
course.
health, and
And replenish them, and
I'm
yeah.
just gonna keep doing it this way until it becomes problematic. I have not died once in the game
That
yet.
was that was my
Yeah.
that's my like my lasting memory. It was that I don't think like HP or really anything else like is all that valuable.
It's
The
not really
flower
a
power
hard game.
is
The
pretty,
enemies don't do that much damage.
and you get like all the items you could carry and stuff, and saves are really convenient, and you don't like lose
Mhm.
a lot of progress. Yeah, it's not too tough or anything like that. And the badges are fun. Like they add a lot of play style and a lot of customization to the
Mhm.
gameplay. I've already got the you gotta get the power P. You
I
can
think so.
chunk some people a little harder than normal. Gotta have that one.
Yeah, and I have the ones where like it gives you a chance of regaining flowers
Yeah.
and health while
Yep.
you're battling. Oh, okay, here's what happened. I made a big mistake. This is tragic actually, Donnie. So, do you know how there's the lottery on the left side of Rogueport where you get a
Yes.
ticket and every day there's a different number? And so I'm like, obviously the way I do fast forwarding in time, the way that I do for Animal Crossing, I'm playing Animal Crossing, I end up like resetting my time back to the current time. So like I was like way in the future. I must have been in like July or something. And then I'm like, okay, so current time. And then I'm playing the 1,000-Year Door and I go to check the lottery to see if I won. And oh my God, have you ever done that before?
No, I have no idea how this story
You
turns
will
out.
have to check my Twitter. I posted a video clip. The Babam guy, he flips out. It's like Rossetti on drugs. He's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. He's like, unlucky, unlucky, boom, 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 boom. And he's like freaking out and the whole screen's shaking and he like gets all big and red. And then he's like, I'm never trusting anybody. I'm never trusting anybody ever again. Leave me alone. And he's like having a psychotic breakdown. And he's like, leave me alone, boom, leave me alone, boom. And then he's like, no more happy lucky lottery ever. And then the whole screen like you know how like a CRT like it like goes into the middle and like and it does that and it like stays black for a couple seconds and then it like comes like because it makes you think that like you broke your game. And then it comes back on and he's like, you need to be honest with me. Did you do
cheat?
some time manipulation to cheat on the lottery? And I'm like, yup. And he's like, so you're not going to ever do this again, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it again. And he goes on that whole big long rant again. And he's like about to blow up. And he's like, you have to swear you are never going to do this again. Or else if you do this again, I'm going to close the lucky lottery forever.
That's hilarious. Like, this is why so many people love this game so much.
Okay, so listen to this, Donnie. So I'm like, okay, fine. I won't ever cheat again. I will not manipulate time again to cheat on the lucky lottery. He's like, okay, well, just to be sure that you're not going to cheat again, your next ticket is going to cost 500 coins. I was like,
you should I
have like 100. I have like 100 coins right now. Yeah.
Get 500 and cheat again.
No, because then it's going to cost more. He's going to cancel.
I'm sure we can YouTube it. I never.
Listen,
manipulating the lottery is something that I think I should have thought to do, but I don't ever recall messing with it.
You get a really good badge if you win the lottery.
Sure.
It's really, really good. It's like enemies will miss often.
That's nice. That's nice. I'll have to go do it too.
No, don't cheat. Only go forward in time until you win. Don't go backwards in time. Because that's how he knows. That's how he catches you.
Basically cheated and is proud of it.
Yeah, I gave all my money to this weird hamster. He's like, guys, I like found an oil rig, but I need some investments. I think I got scammed. I gave him like 200 coins. I gave him like everything I have. And he's like, I'll let you know when I hit big.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, when is that going to be? Because now I owe this bomb 500 coins.
This is why people love this game so much. It's very. I was trying to think of like, we've talked about it on several shows leading up to its
first 5 minutes of the game, and a suicidal bomb.
Yeah. There's like so much sarcasm and wit in the characters and the writing that we just don't normally get when not that their stuff is like generally like generic. I think most of their characters in their games, not that it's bad, it's just that they're just like the Nintendo characters, like they're standard. And 1,000-Year Door really, really stands out that like nothing really feels that way at all throughout the whole thing.
Do you remember Miss Mouse? She's the mouse thief. She has like cute little red boots and her tail is in the shape of a heart.
Mm-hmm.
She's my favorite character. I would die for her.
I'm very surprised but ecstatic to see you so excited about a Mario game.
I know, right? This is probably going to end up being my favorite Mario game.
Yeah, and you're one of those people.
What do you mean?
You're going to be one of those people who are like, 1,000-Year Door is actually 1,000-Year Door is the best Mario game ever.
Okay, so I saw a Twitter post that it was in the Paper Mario logo style. And you know how it has like Paper Mario in one logo and then the 1,000-Year Door underneath it.
Yeah.
It said in the first one, it said Undertale for millennials.
Yeah. I get it. That makes sense. that checks out when the glove fits. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. quite a bit. I think I'm going to play a little bit more today. I do question how much longer. Like, I definitely going to play to Twilight Town. It's like I feel the same way about almost everything, not Fire Emblem. I just had more patience to play something like this when I was younger. You know, like I just don't play many games like these anymore. And every time I revisit one, I'm like, man, you used to like sit in front of your TV and veg for like 10 hours a day playing stuff like this. And now I'm just like, oh, I want to do like, I just don't, I don't know. I don't think I have the patience or the time, or I'm aware of the time. I don't know. But I've noticed this trend. Having done Shack, I've had countless amount of opportunities to revisit these, and like all the, not that I was ever like, I would never count myself as an RPG person. I think most people know that, but even the RPGs that I did play, I just don't seem to have the wherewithal for them much anymore.
So I'm fighting with XBS and chat about whether Yoshi's Island is a Mario game or not, and I feel very strongly about it. I get it. You don't want to play stuff when you're sick.
I really don't. Sometimes I do. It depends on how sick I am. You know, like, am I like sick, like sniffly sick, or am I like, if I'm tired sick, then I don't want to.
Yeah.
So like,
you want to sleep.
My family got like, so Jack got sick like last Thursday, and Victoria got sick on Saturday. Melissa got sick on Monday. I went to work on Tuesday, told everybody, I was like, guys, my family's sick. Now, I'm in this weird thing at work where like, they really frown on like working from home. So I'm like in between. I'm like, I don't know what to do. My whole family's sick. I'm probably about to get sick, but like, I don't feel sick. So I guess I'm going to go to work. And of course, like at like 2:00 Tuesday afternoon, I was like, I feel sick.
Why do they frown upon working from home
like a
if
whole
you're
new
sick?
thing.
Like,
Yeah,
if you're sick, stay home, especially if you can do your job at home.
See, that's the thing. But when I woke up to, like, I didn't feel sick. Like, I wasn't sick. Right. So I'm like, I'm kind of in that between. I'm like, I don't feel sick, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get sick because everybody else around me is sick. And then that's what I'm trying to get to. Like, that afternoon, I started to feel sick. It was like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I was like, uh-oh, now I feel like I'm getting sick. And then Wednesday, it wasn't too bad. But then Thursday, and especially Friday, Rebecca, I didn't get out of bed until like 3 in the afternoon.
No, you got to rest when you're like that.
Yeah, I just kind of kept going in and out of naps and stuff. I was just sick. So today's the first day where like I feel like myself again. I feel good. Like, I feel like I've got energy. That's why I woke up early. Okay. That's why I've been up. I've been cleaning, and, you know, so I haven't been playing a whole lot. I did buy a PlayStation 5. So I did mess around. Did the
state of play get you?
Actually, it got me ahead of time. I've been anticipating this Astrobot game for months on the podcast. I've been teasing.
I gotta finish the first one.
And leading up to the state of play, I was like, okay, this is going to be like the one. The Astrobot game is going to be the one that's going to get me back. I was like, and then they had this promotion where I got $50 off the console, and I'm not sure if you saw it. They gave away a free year of Netflix Premium.
Oh,
it's $20 a month that I'm saving by getting the free year. So
oh my god,
I got the console. So I've been messing around a little bit with that, but I will definitely be playing Astrobot. But that's really it for me this week. I haven't been doing a whole lot more than just kind of messing around. It's
so funny to me that like Sony's doing all this stuff, but really it's just Astrobot that is, you know, that's what was trending. That's what people
nobody cares about.
Like,
else that
they're doing too much. Just do more Astrobot and things like it. Like,
well, you say that, but there are a lot of people. There are like, I want to say like diehard. I really don't like a lot of the terms that we use. There are enthusiastic PlayStation fans that hate Astrobot and don't want Sony to be anything like that. And you don't have to look any further than Dev. They don't want.
Dev doesn't like Astrobot.
He wanted to close the studio. He hates all of that stuff. He doesn't want Astrobot. He doesn't want Sackboy. He doesn't want Studio Japan. He doesn't want Journey or anything. Like, he wants The Last of Us and Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima and God of War. Like, they want.
Why not both?
I'm with you. That's so, like, we've been doing, and I hate to turn this show into that, but it is like the trending thing. And we have even had people ask us about Astrobot, so it's going to come up. That's been my thing. The reason I stopped playing mostly PlayStation, the reason I got rid of it and haven't had one, because that's my shit. Hot Shots and Sackboy and Astrobot and Journey. Like, that's the stuff that I love about PlayStation. and of course, Infamous and Last of Us, but really that
Oh yeah,
Japan,
Sly
kind of
Cooper is coming
stuff.
back to PS5. The original, they're
Yeah,
like
PlayStation 2, they're putting it on
Sly
there.
Cooper is my favorite PlayStation franchise.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I love
That's
Sly
impressive.
Cooper. That's been my favorite forever. I had it on the PS2.
Sure, yeah. Well, that PS2 game's coming back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now that they've at least got one more of those on the radar, I picked one up. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's always
I
exciting
bet
getting new
you
hardware.
sell it before the Netflix Premium expires.
That's what Dev was like 6 months it'll be gone. We'll see.
Me and
see.
Dev should take a bet.
You should take bets. You should take bets. I will tell you that I got the slim model, which I like a lot more,
Okay. Yeah.
and so we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts, but I'm
Nice.
hoping it'll stick around for a while.
Good. I got you back.
What else have you been up to?
Reading. I bought a book and I read half of it. So, yeah. Why are you
Sorry.
laughing?
Kyle. Dev is an alpha
okay,
male
you weren't laughing at
PlayStation
me.
gamer. No, I'm not laughing. You just that one got me. That one made me laugh. What are you reading?
I'm reading If Cats Disappeared from the World, and it's this.
Is this like a real thing or like a nonfiction story?
No, this is just a story. It's from a Japanese writer about he is finding out that he has a brain tumor with stage 4, only months to live, and then the devil comes down to him and is like, actually, you're gonna die tomorrow, but I'll make you a deal. If you agree to get rid of one thing from the world, I will extend your life by a day, and we can do this every day. And he's like, yeah, hell yeah, like we can get rid of get rid of poverty, get rid of pollution, mayonnaise. But then he's like, I can think of a lot of things that we can go without. And the devil's like, oh no, like I get to choose each thing, and when I pick it, you can agree or not. And so like the first day he gives up phones, the devil's like, we're getting rid of phones, no more cell phone, no more phones. And he's like, yeah, okay, like let's do it. I want another day. And so then he goes about his day, no phones. He's like, you know what? This is actually kind of nice. Like people aren't off of their, we were all addicted to our phones. And then now he's on the second day, and he's like, he's going to give up movies. And he just found out, that he rekindled with his ex-girlfriend, and she works at a movie theater, and movie theater's her favorite place. She loves movies, and now he has to agree to get rid of movies if he wants another day to live.
Like go into like that Donnie Darko like butterfly effect type of thing where
it probably will
has cascading consequences down the line?
Yeah, but it's like people don't remember that this didn't exist.
Yeah, so they just have no awareness of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna get to the part where now he's gonna live without movies, and I want to see how it's gonna affect how his ex-girlfriend is, because that was like a big part of her life. Movies.
Sure, like that makes me question, like, so do they ever meet or never meet or anything?
Yeah, well that's the thing. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
It's compelling.
It's like you give up all these things to live one
Sounds
more
like
day.
A good series.
Yeah, but like after a certain point, it's like, well, all these things are kind of what makes life worth living. Eventually, I think he's gonna have to give up cats, and he has a cat, and that's probably gonna be like, yeah.
You feel the guilt of what you're doing to other people.
Yeah,
it's very selfish.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm reading that. It's and it's a short book, and I think I've discovered about myself, I don't know if it's the attention span, but like I feel like it's easier for me to consume smaller pieces of media, like
sure.
5-hour games, 150-page books.
Yeah, we're TikTokers.
Yeah, we're TikTokers.
We ain't got time for all that. We're not doing all this. That's why I'm watching this dialogue on paper. I'm like, oh my god, hurry up.
Oh boy, what have we become? Tell me about Dragon Quest, Donnie. This is an exciting piece of news for even me, who is not a Dragon Quest fan. Yeah,
so it's June. We've got Game Fest stuff beginning next week. We've got a direct happening at some point, so things are gonna start happening. And one of those things that looks like it's happening is Dragon Quest. So on Dragon Quest Day last week, Square Enix posted a teaser video which showed the symbol of the Dragon Quest III logo with the words "The Legacy Begins," and the tweet read, "The legend of Erdrick draws near." Midori said, "Expect this game in the next direct," and speculated that it could be more than just Dragon Quest 3. It was supposed to be Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. That was the announcement.
And
like
that was like
years
announced
ago.
for. I was gonna say
Yeah,
that was the one forever ago,
ago.
and we haven't heard anything, and people are like, "Where the heck is it?
What happened? Where is it?" So Midori, who's been like leaking everything, apparently, I think it's a she. She said it could be more than just
Midori's a
Dragon
girl."
Quest. I think so. Could be more than just Dragon Quest 3, which hints that maybe we're getting Dragon Quest 2D HD trilogy. Well, lo and behold, Square has registered a domain name for DragonQuest2DHD.com. Notable, it's not Dragon Quest 3 2DHD.com. So it looks like the trilogy is coming in the 2D HD thing, and I think that's fantastic. That's definitely
that
like
could
some gaming that you
explain-
want to buy.
That could explain why they've been radio silent for so long. If they
Yeah.
decided, hey, let's do this for the first 2 games as
I'm
well.
wondering if it makes me ask a lot of questions. I'm wondering, like, what did the impact of the pixel remasters have on this and the pricing? Maybe they were going to do Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. Maybe it was going to be like $20 or $30, and they were like, well, we don't think a lot of people would buy it. But maybe if we put the whole trilogy in, maybe we can sell it at $60. Maybe we can have a physical. So I'm wondering, what did the scope pick up? And here I am talking about how I played all these RPGs as a kid and I don't play them anymore, and I'm still going to buy it. 100% I'm going to buy it and probably play it for like 4 hours and then never finish it, never play it again.
That's literally me.
I just got to own up to this now at this point, like in my life. Damn it, I'm almost 40. I'm just going to be like, you know what? F it. You know what I like? I like seeing the icon on my Switch. It makes me happy. Leave me alone.
To know it exists.
Leave me alone. I bought the game.
You did your part.
Yeah, I did my part. But yeah, it looks like that's something that we could, I don't want to get anybody's expectations too high. Not that I think they'd be too let down if this doesn't happen, but it looks like this is something you could probably count on.
I have never played any Dragon Quest games. People told me that I would like them.
Dragon Quest 11 is amazing.
Yeah, you've told me that.
It's really good. That may be the last like RPG I got way into, and I never finished that, but I played it a bunch. So it's very nice. You should play it.
Well, I do like me a HD 2D HD type of game. I love me
pixel
some Live
remasters.
Alive. Yeah,
I want
those types of things.
I want Nintendo to do this. It really pisses me off. Like I want not just like the 2D, like so you have the Octopath thing. You could easily do some sprite stuff with like Fire Emblem or something like that. But like I want a HD, very modern, new look on like the pixel graphic style in like a Mario or a Zelda game
or Pokemon.
Or Pokemon. Yeah, like do this. I don't know why they're not doing this. I don't get it. Because when they do it,
I would like a new Nintendo IP in that
when
style
they do it with like Mario Maker or NES Remix or like little one-offs and Mario Odyssey and stuff, it looks incredible. I'm like, just do a whole game, please. But they won't, or they haven't yet. I don't know. I don't know why. It can't be that expensive. I can't imagine that that's the reason why. But yeah.
I think Nintendo sees that it's not like a appeals to everyone type of art style.
It doesn't seem like it's particularly selling very well, right? Like people get excited. We tweeted about Octopath, but it didn't really, it didn't take off or anything like that. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a very minority type of thing. Yeah.
Unfortunate. They announced the Zelda Lego.
Correct. I was corrected, I guess. It is the Deku tree from Breath of the Wild, like the cherry blossom tree, but it's a 2-in-1. It can be both, and it can actually have like the Great Deku tree as well, which I was like, that's kind of neat.
From Ocarina of Time.
Still way too expensive at $300.
Oh my gosh, $300, and you have to pick
Legos.
Whether you display the Ocarina of Time version or the Breath of the Wild version.
You have to do the Ocarina of Time.
If you want both, you have to pay $600 and build it
absurd.
twice.
Also, if you want the minifigures, you have to buy the Deku tree. They're not sold separately.
It's unfortunate that it's that expensive because that would have been a perfect one for my dad because he likes building the Lego sets and he loves Zelda and he loves Ocarina of Time, the Great Deku Tree. Like that would be the perfect one. Maybe down the line I'll split it with him.
I don't know how, but somehow this reached Jack, and I got a DM earlier this week that was just like big screamy emoji faces, and I would just hit him with a GIF like absolutely not. He's like, please No, absolutely. We're not spending $300 on Legos
Make
ever.
him a deal. Tell him if he does, so much. Make him work for it. He's old enough.
No, I would hate to see him
Old enough.
work
What?
to spend all the money on Legos.
Why? That's a great thing to buy.
It's a lot of money for
It is
Legos.
a lot of money, but if you make him work for it, he'll appreciate it.
I know he will, and he appreciates his stuff now. I don't know. I would just
I
like, I
mean,
would rather
300
see
it's
him
not
use that money
egregious, but, like,
on something better.
I mean, that's your opinion. It's what you want.
Right, and that's an opinion that I stand for. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I think you should make him work this summer for it.
I'm gonna be like, you know what, Jack? Give it a year, and we'll see if we can't get one used on eBay.
No, that's such a gamble because then there's gonna be pieces missing and you can't
Not
replace them.
necessarily. I don't necessarily know that. You have to be careful. I did the same thing with like what was the Pokemon Classic, right? I did the same thing. I got the Pokemon Classic. It took like 18 months after they launched, but I ended up getting it for $85. So, like, I don't know. I'm not spending $300 on Lego. That's absurd. It's too much. I don't know.
He'll be spending $300 after you put him to work.
Maybe so. He'll have to do it on his own. I can't support this endeavor. It's too much.
Jack
As we
can mow my
do
lawn.
usually when we have no news, but I've been trying to make it a frequent thing. I did write down a list of highlight games coming out in June, as we're at the start of the month. It's June 2nd. So first off, Aster Blade of the Monolith is out now for $25. I checked on some reviews. There aren't many out right now. The like handful that are like 6s. So maybe it's not that great, but this was that game that was in the Xbox show, I think, the Xbox indie show, that's like kind of like a Zelda-like, that I was pretty interested in. I am kind of interested, so I might buy it and play it at some point.
Before you continue, we have a question about the official pronunciation of the tree. I grew up saying Deku, but now I say Deku.
Yeah, and you could also do Deku. I've heard that a bunch. I think they're all okay. Like, I am accepting of all pronunciations of, I don't know, Deku. I don't know, that doesn't roll off the
Deku
mind.
tree.
Yeah, I guess if you say it faster, Deku tree.
But I did say Deku tree, and I think my dad says Deku tree.
The Deku tree. And the Deku tree sounds right. But that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle says Deku. Deku.
I think most people say Deku.
Yeah. On the 4th, 2 days from now, Star Wars Hunters comes out. That's that Zynga battle melee game, whatever, for Star Wars. Killer Clowns from Outer Space comes out the same day. I've seen some people, CJ mostly, pretty excited about that one. Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked comes out on the 11th.
I got bullied by Mike Minotti for making fun of Rocket Knight.
Don't let him bully you. You know what? We need to bully Mike. More people in this world need to bully Mike besides Jeff. He's the only one. I know. I love Mike to death, but Mike and I could not see further apart on like most games. Like on most
Really?
everything. We are almost like, it's worse than me and Dev. We are very different.
He's a Mega Man person.
Like, what are you talking about? So I do know that he likes the Rocket Knight. So I've never played it.
It's like a mouse or something, right?
I'm indifferent on Rocket Knight. I have no idea. I thought it was like a kangaroo.
Oh, it might be.
I have no idea. Monster Hunter Stories, the port comes over to Switch on the 14th. That's a pretty big game for them in their catalog. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, the re-release, the revision, the expansion. I don't really know how to talk about that. That comes out on the 14th. Wylands Switch Edition comes out on the 20th. Have you ever seen that game?
I don't know. I look at that and it looks like Ylands.
Yeah, no, it's Wylands. I 100% saw this game in motion once and was going to make fun of it. And then I started like looking at people play it, and it does have like kind of like a cult community. It's kind of like Survival Craft Sea of Thieves. Like you can get like a boat and you can like boat around, and it's kind of derpy, and like you can, you tree punch and break the rocks and build the forts and build the stuff and all that. And it kind of has there's like an online following for this game. I hate
the art style.
Yeah, I think that's what it's like. I wouldn't dare call it popular, but like
It's
I do
ugly.
think it's got something there. Like there are people into Wildlands. I think I
Okay.
could see like Jacker and his friends or something like getting into something like this,
Yeah.
especially if you're into like that Sea of Thieves thing where you can like, raft a boat around and like do things. I don't know. Super Monkey Ball Banana Ramble comes out. Banana Rumble. Rumble.
I thought this game came out like before. Every
That was the other
Monkey Ball. What was that one called? Banana. Didn't that one have banana in the name?
I don't remember.
Banana Ball.
It's a good question. I have the other one. I bought it.
Like all the Super Monkey Ball titles are the same to me. Banana Blitz.
How are you feeling? Are you still
sleeping through it?
Yeah, still skipping it. It feels like a lot of people are going to skip that. I probably will too. I just can't bring myself to pay full price for a game that I have on my 3DS and can play at any moment.
Yep.
And I realize that it's a new.
Is it $60?
It is.
Oh, that's bad. They should not charge $60 for
it's
that.
Like I can't. I don't know why. Like in my head, I can't. I'm just not. Because like the 3D version is fine. Like I'm totally fine to go back if I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I can play it on my 3DS.
Oh, I didn't know it was 60. That's criminal.
Neo Sprint is on the 27th. That is like a top-down, like action racer sort of thing. And then our final game of the month of my highlights is Tchia. Hits Switch on the 27th. That's a pretty cool game. I've played it before.
Tchia.
Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It shows up on my Steam recommendations all the time.
Yeah, because people were kind of like, it's kind of Breath of the Wild-esque. You can like hop across trees. You get a little glider and you can float around. And you can,
I thought you liked this game. Didn't you like it?
I did. I liked it. I think I liked it a lot more in the first 2 hours than I did in like the following 8.
Was this the one where there was something with the music?
Yes.
You played different music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you get to you can possess things in the world and use them to traverse and accomplish puzzles and stuff like that. It's got a really cool premise and the game functions really well. It just, there's not a whole lot of depth there once you kind of do a couple loops. You just kind of realize you just kind of keep doing that. It's not as developed as something like what we would expect in a Zelda game. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of is that loop and they just give you a bunch of different reasons to do it. Some headlines that I wrote down. The Marvelous Showcase happened a few days ago and we got to see the first teaser trailer for Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. Do you remember that Switch game?
No. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Daemon X Machina was a kind of a big deal for Nintendo for a moment.
Is this a sequel?
This is a sequel. It's coming to PC and we presume Switch 2. There's no release date or anything for it yet. But they are making another one.
Okay.
Splatoon 3 has been patched to version 8.0, and they've updated and added, there's a new season, a new catalog, new battle stage, new weapons, new battle cards and songs, more gameplay adjustments. Rebecca, have you seen speculation and rumors that we could be nearing the end of the Splatfests?
Okay, so here's I'm sucked back in. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 3 this weekend. Because there are a couple of new items added that I really want, and you really have to grind for it. Like they're really tough to get items, and you have to play a lot.
Got you with the gear.
Oh, it's horrible. Game sucks. I hate it. But I think it sounds like they will be approaching the final Splatfest. But it also, I saw some talk that some of there's data for the Frosty Fest and the Splatoween. So I think it sounds like those will be repeat Splatfests. So just like how they did in Splatoon 2, they'll have the last, the final fest, but then they'll do repeat ones just
to seasonal things you can keep playing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, the data miners, if I recall, the data mining folks like Oatmeal Dome had suggested that they saw in the code some sort of the platform at the end of the Splatfest is usually reserved for the winner, but on this one, I think maybe in August or September, the code shows that all the characters will be on it, and it sounds like some sort of send
Final
off some sort of
Fantasy, yeah.
farewell. Yeah.
Well, here and the timing of this sounds like it's gonna coincide with the next Switch, which makes me wonder if they're gonna be doing a Splatoon 4, which feels like it is happening fast, but like, why wouldn't they do it?
Yeah, look at Splatoon 3 and 2,
Here's
and
I like
100% they will.
and, like, here's my frustration, like, you couldn't take any of your progress from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3, so, like, am I grinding all of this only to have to start fresh again in Splatoon 4?
Maybe that'll be their big thing with Splatoon 4 is that your profile and stuff will carry over.
Like, I
But
get that, like, maybe they
but
wanna reset
probably
some stuff to make it fair,
but
but, like,
probably yes.
ugh, like, why can't like, even if you I don't know. I want something to come over, I want some of my grinding to be worth it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, but they haven't shown any inclination.
Ha! I get it!
There you go. To do anything like that, and if Splatoon is gonna continue in the way that we see Splatoon, that's really all they've got to keep people playing is the grind, is to keep people like to keep those people that care about that playing, such as yourself, is to give you something else to grind towards. So like by letting you bring all your stuff over, they're not going to get you to keep grinding. So
sad.
it would change.
I hate
They would have to
grinding.
fundamentally change how they approach the game. And I just
My favorite game that I love to hate.
they are like, yeah, I'm not a fan of what they're doing. And it's for new maps and all the maps you had before. Like it is egregious. Call of Duty could never, like other I don't know, really understand how this game gets away with it. Other games that do this sort of thing could never do what Splatoon is doing.
Yeah.
The idea of like these rotational modes and things that are only available on certain day, and like it just doesn't make any sense.
I've been grinding a lot of Salmon Run because that's one of the things I have to grind to get the item that I want. And first of all, this is so ridiculous. So when you know how you might not know because I don't think you play this, but when you finish all 3 like waves in Salmon Run, there's a chance of the big Kahuluna or whatever, the big boss coming, and it's like the extra wave. So it doesn't happen every time, but a chance when you've completed all 3 waves that it could happen. And it's kind of tough to beat if you're playing with randoms because randoms don't know what the frick they're doing. And so like if you don't beat it, like you get a couple of the little clam prizes. And if you beat it, you get like a decent amount of the clam prizes. So I played for like 2 hours and got one of the boss salmonids and we lost because my team was freaking stupid, and I got 1 silver thing, and I need 150 for the prize that I want.
I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds unfortunate. Sounds frustrating.
It was very frustrating, so I stopped playing.
As Kyle says, like Overwatch did with Overwatch 2. And Kyle, how did that go for them? How's that like almost like completely scuttled the entire franchise? And somehow Splatoon's looking at 4 of them in a row, and people won't care. And that's the thing, people will not care. When they make Splatoon 4, people will get excited and they will buy it.
And I'm part of the problem.
Maybe myself included, although like I didn't stay long for Splatoon 3, so like I kind of feel like that luster has worn off for me. I need them to make me feel like it's worth my time. Otherwise I'll pick it up cheap or on sale or something. Like I'm not. Yeah.
Do you hear Josh snoring?
No.
He's in the bed next to me snoring.
With Frisk?
All right. What?
With Frisk?
Frisk is on my desk snoring. He is right in front of me here underneath the screen.
I threw this in there because it was funny. Nintendo partnered with the paper airplane guy for a 1,000-year door paper airplane that you can print off and
There's
fold.
a paper airplane guy?
Yeah, he used to have like the Guinness World Record for like the longest flying paper airplane. They have a trailer and everything. Like the guy on YouTube, you could like look it up, and he's like, "Hi, I'm John, the paper airplane guy. Here's how to fold the paper airplane." It was like a Paper Mario airplane.
Nice.
It's kind of
That's
funny.
cool. My students love paper airplanes. They're making them all the time. That's like
really
a huge thing. Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Wow. Apple Arcade's Fantasian. It's an RPG from former Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi. Is primed to jump to consoles. I have downloaded this on my iPad, but I never played it. But it was a big thing when it came to Apple Arcade, and it popped up on Steam, has a listing, so it looks like it's jumping to consoles, and I would expect that in the Switch Direct. That sounds like a game that would be right at home on Nintendo Switch, and people love that thing when it came to mobile. Like big people wanted it to come to consoles. They wanted it on Switch. So for those people, it looks like you might be getting your wish come true.
This looks like a game of its kind to me.
Yeah, that's why I've never. And again, I'm just not that into RPGs. So like, I saw the buzz, I downloaded, I was like, I'm gonna try it, and then I just never have because I play.
Oh, okay. This is cool though. I take back what I said because it looks like the environments are like handcrafted from like it's like a photograph, I guess, of like a real thing, like a real sculpture that they made. Hold on, I'll send you this picture. This
they have
really
like
cool.
there is some mechanic that I'm to butcher where I think you can like capture a bunch of the enemies and
Looking at it.
I have to grab my phone because I don't have it on my browser. No, you're good.
He's like the environment is like in front of him is a sculpture. And then that's what they used for the game.
Yeah. Like a diorama, kind of.
Yeah.
Like a model. But like in game, it just looks like I feel like it just looks like a lot of games like that.
I know, a lot of work for something that like you probably wouldn't even be able to tell.
Like I wouldn't have, yeah. T-Life says the environments are dioramas. So there you go.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so that's probably one of the games that's in the direct or coming out of Summer Games Fest soon.
Okay.
And then I pulled this one from Reddit. It got shared on I forget where I saw it. I was on Threads and I came across I think it was like Gamatsu or something. Had a question. And I thought it would be really good to ask you this. Would you pay $20 for house DLC in Tears of the Kingdom? So this Redditor posed this in the Zelda Reddit. And he said, if you could double the rooms, add new rooms, new add-ons, and then you could put a second house in any location where the house could fit in Tears of the Kingdom, would you pay $20 to go back into the game and recreate another house and put a house somewhere?
And do what with it?
That's it. You're just paying $20 for the house.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I built a house in Tears of the Kingdom and like it was cute, but like
it's non-functional. Like it doesn't serve any purpose.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't like okay. I thought maybe I'd get
and that would be a pretty steep price for what that is.
Well, one of the things I was thinking is that would be a nice way of like throwing that into Nintendo Switch Online and getting that thing going again, because it doesn't seem like we've gotten DLC in that in some time. Right? Like not the Mario, if you don't count the Mario Kart like 2-year run of that over and over and over again. They could just kind of stop doing that altogether.
They should put the new Splatoon 3 side order in that.
They should.
I think that every first party DLC should just automatically be part of it.
I agree. I kind of thought that's what we were. I don't want to say promise because they definitely didn't like put on the infographic, but they definitely like alluded to that being the case.
Or like even a week after. So like
because we got like a year's worth of DLCs in that service, and then they just stopped. It was like they used it to onboard people and then cut it off, which I don't necessarily like. But you know, it's not that big of a deal. And that's the news.
Yeah, and we have a lot of stuff, so many that we're gonna have to save some for next week. So we're gonna try to get through as many as we can right now. Starting off with Andy P. And I like this question. This is good. Yeah. He says, I've been wanting to ask this for a while. Do you think the voice actor for Frederick from Fire Emblem would be unhappy about you guys using the bad take for your outro? he says, I think it's great, but I always wonder when I hear it. So, you know, our outro, if you don't make it to the end of our show, which, first of all, shame on you, he goes, I'm Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I forget the line already.
What?
It's kind of funny. What? Yeah.
So
do you think
Dragon Ball Z, he just also happens to voice Frederick. When I met him to record that voiceover, I was the only person there that had anything to ask him about Fire Emblem at all. There was like 400 people asking about Dragon Ball Z and me, which he really appreciated. Here's what I can tell you, Eddie, and thank you for asking, because this is a really great story. I got to meet him and I paid him to do a voiceover, but the audio was terrible. And I had this microphone that I had bought and it was really bad. So I met him in the press room and he remembered me and he was like, hey, and he mentioned this. He was like, hey, thank you for knowing that I was in Fire Emblem. And we were joking. It was after his interview. So he'd already answered like 400 questions about Gohan and everything. And he voices, I think, other Dragon Ball Z characters as well, but it's mainly Gohan. And I was like, yeah, I was like, by the way, we went to use your audio and it was really bad. I was like, the microphone that we got sucked. And he was like, oh no, that sucks. He's like, do you want to do another one? I was like, if you don't mind, like, I can't pay you. He's like, don't worry about it. I've got time. I'm not doing anything. He's like, I'm happy to re-record it because it's just
Nice
kind of
guy.
in passing. He's a nice guy. And he's a great follow on Threads, by the way. He's got really funny memes. So we go to set up to do it. And he goes, okay, what was it again? I was like, all right, so our podcast, and this is Caroline. 100% Caroline was like, you have to get him to say, pick the Nintendo Shack and pray, right? And I was like, okay, so our podcast, Nintendo Shack, and here's what we're going for. And he's like, that's great. And I mean, in that moment, immediately he goes, that's great. And I put the mic up and he says what you hear. This is Frederick from Ireland. And I forgot the line already. What? And we just both bust out laughing. And I go, oh my God, this is better than the actual line. Can we use this? And he goes, are you serious? I was like, this is so much like, this is kind of the fun, dumb energy that I want from my podcast. He goes, that's great. He goes, but I actually want to give you the actual line as well. And then I have both. We have another one. I think do we still use it in the intro? I don't even remember.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say, I think for a while we didn't. And then when I came back and rebranded everything, I was like, we got to put it back in.
Yeah, it's iconic.
But yeah, that's why I always wanted to use it as the outro bumper.
So he knows that you
wanted to use
100%.
that. He laughed. He thought that was so funny. And that's why I kind of bring up, if you follow him and like his memes and his humor, and trust that he gets it. He knows exactly. We're on the same page. Like, this is funnier. This is better than our line. Like, nice. Our line is official, but this is funny. Because it was just like a candid mistake that like you can't really repeat. We have a similar one for PSVG that Delvin got. Oh man, what is her name? I can't remember her name all of a sudden. She's in like a bajillion video games. Deborah Wilson. You're familiar with her?
Mm-mm.
She's in all kinds of things. I know her mostly from Mad TV. Let me put in video games. I think she's in Batman, and I think she's in the upcoming, like, she might be in it's not Concord, but the other one that Nintendo or the PlayStation is doing. Anyway, we have one for her, and it's hilarious because she's trying to read there she is, the Star Wars Jedi games. Thank you, XBS. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, she's in the Star Wars Jedi games from EA. She's trying to read a voiceover that Delvin gave her for PSVG, and she messes it up like 5 times in a row. Like she's like, that's good. But she does these amazing faces into the camera where she's just like, what the fuck is happening? So Delvin just gives me all of this footage. She just sent all of it. It's like 15 minutes of her screwing up our intro over and over again. So then I spliced it all together and edited it all together to be like one through line of her getting it to the thing. And we've got like little reactions and little cut scenes and stuff in between and takes and
I've
applause.
never seen that. Yeah.
It's very funny. We don't use it as an intro. We used to use it as a bumper through the news. I'd play it now, but it's not in the the Shack account over here. But
you'll have to dig it up sometime.
Hang on. I think
Do you?
I can. I think I can switch over. It's just going to change our video for a moment. Let's see if this works. And I'll play it for you. Because if you've never seen it, it's a little long. It's like maybe 30 seconds, but I think it's worth it.
Hey, Delvin. Hey, Devin. Hey, Donnie. It's Deborah Wilson. I'm going to give you a couple of things. The way I think that it would be heard on a podcast. So I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson from... Here I go again. It happens. I do this shit in the booth too. Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson, the voice of... Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson, the voice of Seer Junda for Star... This shit happens. This is real life. Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson, the voice of Seer Junda from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And you're listening to the PSVG podcast. And now, Donnie with the news.
Oh, I almost couldn't get us back.
That is funny. She seems like she's such a fun person.
She's hilarious. And since I got to play it, I could pull it up. She's done she did Godfall, God of War, Gears, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Fallout, Ice Age, Infamous, Just Cause, Star Wars. She's in like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. That's great.
So she's amazing. And it was great that we got all of that footage like that. And I was like, this is very our kind of like the energy that I want us to have is very much in this mode. So that was great. I was able to take that and turn that into something.
Yeah, well, we do that kind of stuff all the time. So
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't want to be too polished and too pristine and too, correct all the time. We've got plenty of those things. I like our kind of genuine misfit energy. So, but yeah, the Kyle Hebert was hilarious, and I love that one. I don't think we could have ever got a better bumper.
I'm glad that he knows about it.
That week, I probably got 12 bumpers, and like that's like the only one we've ever used because they're all just kind of they're okay, but they're just hey, I'm so and so, and you're listening to such and such.
It's iconic.
Yeah, that one has character. That one's lasting staying power. People remember it. They ask questions about it. Like Andy, he's like, "What? Donnie's just using this."
Well, I heard that intro before I had ever heard the actual line "Pick a god and pray." So I'm like, oh, like that's what it's from.
Yeah.
Okay, G-Man asks us, since it's Pride Month, happy Pride Month. Okay, so here, I don't know if this is actually what he's asking or if he meant another character, but I'm going to read it as it is. How do you feel about Beldam from the Thousand Year Door? So Vivian is the character. I don't know if maybe he was trying to ask about Vivian, who is canonically now transgender. That was like alluded to in the original release. The Japanese version of the original release was a little bit more explicit about it. But now they've like updated the translation, so she is actually transgender. But he is asking, how do you feel about Beldam from the Thousand Year Door, who was one of the other two sisters, which when I got to this part of the game, I'm like, wow, like these three sisters, they're interesting because you've got Vivian and Marilyn, who are like these kind of nice bad guys. And they have like such pretty girl names. Like I think of Vivian and Marilyn as like pretty girl names. And then you have Beldam, which is like, first of all, not even a real name. It's not a pretty girl name, and it reminds me of Beldam the Pokemon. And she is awful. She is so mean to Vivian. She's like she's transphobic. That's how I feel about her. She's transphobic and she is awful to her sister. I said it.
Maybe that's what I don't think so, but maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, the only took that line in stride and was like, oh, that's really cool, and just kept on keeping on. It is really, I guess, today's time, that we're so fixated. I don't feel like people were really that fixated on those labels back then, in the same way, or at least maybe where I grew up with in my little community when I was younger. I definitely don't think it was like an accepted thing globally, but in my neighborhood, in my family, it was never a thing. So I never really gave it any attention on the matter. It really wasn't until the remake was announced. I was like seeing the tweets and stuff. I was like, oh, y'all are just figuring this out for the first time, huh? Okay. So that's it.
Yeah. I like Vivian. She seems like she's really
Everybody
nice.
does. Yeah.
I can't wait to see more of her in the game.
I
Okay. So G-Man, he did mean to say Beldam and how she feels about Vivian.
Yeah, when you put it that
she's
way,
a jerk.
I never thought of it. I never thought of that, to be clear. But when you put it that way, I do wonder, like now, like maybe the writer's intent was for that to come across that way. Or at least if not transphobic, at the very least not accepting.
Yeah, well, she doesn't like misgender her. Like she does at one point say like, my sister, and then Vivian is like, I love it when you call me your sister.
Yeah.
Like, that feels so nice. So like she's not like rude into the fact that like transphobic to the fact that she
Yeah, it
is
could be
like,
under
you're not a girl, you're not my sister.
A little
But
under the nose, a little implication.
Yeah.
Implied. A little better than if it is, that's good writing. That's like maybe my biggest complaint with like a lot of the times when like Life is Strange tackles these things, that they're so heavy-handed on the nose. It comes off as disgenuine. Like I've never met anybody like this. Like, geez, guys, we get it. They're racist. So yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever studied it that much. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
G-Man also says, has there been an indie game that you like that no one talks about? Mine would be 1001 Spikes, since the 10th anniversary is this Monday. I've never heard of that one. So
I have, yeah.
You picked a good one.
That
10th
is a good one.
anniversary.
That's interesting. That's an interesting question. I'm positive there has. I wish I had my Switch on me. I'd open it up and look at it.
I was just playing the game Tricky Towers with Josh a couple days ago. That's a fun indie game that I like. It's on everything. It's like kind of like Tetris, but not really. Like you play against somebody else, and you can either race to the top. There's like a survival mode and there's a puzzle mode. It's really fun.
Nice. XPS's Trek to Yomi. There is one coming to mind. I just can't recall the name of it. There was like this. Maybe the chat can help me find it. There was this almost cyberpunk looking esque, kind of like Neon Tron type of game that came out, I think the first year that the Switch came out. And you're like a little sword fighter and you run around. It was like a mobile game, and you kill things and you collect points and you upgrade and stuff like that. And I really liked it, and it really didn't make waves. I don't think too many people know it. I don't even remember the name. It's been so many years now. But that's like the thing that immediately kind of comes to mind. Or really that game that's coming up, that Blade Chimera game that I'm kind of into, that they're similar, like in look. It almost reminded me of that. But like, are there indie games that I like that nobody else like? I'm positive there's 100 of them. Rebecca didn't like Golf Story, though I know a lot of people do. Most people.
I like Golf Story. I didn't say I didn't like Golf Story.
I thought you didn't like it.
No, I did like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just misremembered. In my memory, I think I remembered you playing and you were like, yeah, Donnie, this ain't it. I'm not going to keep doing it.
I love the writing. I don't think I finished it just because I had so much other stuff going on. And like the golf part was hard for me, but the writing was so good.
Okay, well, then let me take that back. I apologize.
Thank you.
I do think, though, a lot of the games that I really like when I think of like No More Heroes, there are a lot of people that like No More Heroes. I don't think most people do, but there are a lot of people that love it. So I don't know. Cult favorite games. Yeah. I don't know. Cult of the Lamb. Oh, this is another time to pile on Mike Minotti. Mike Minotti hates Death's Door. He called it Death Snore. I couldn't believe it.
What?
I couldn't believe it. He called it Death's Snore.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad.
I'm telling you. I hear his opinion. It almost feels personal. It's like me and him need to have a charity boxing match.
We need to bully him more. You're right.
Death Snore. How dare him? But yeah. I don't know, G-Man. Nothing immediately is coming to mind. I'll try to think of something to hit you back in the chat.
Snurts writes in with the actual hard-hitting news from this week. Big news at Nintendo of America.
Huge.
They updated their sign. They painted it red. It was white. What do you think of the new look? Also, why is this news?
Because anything Nintendo does is news.
Well, I think they're getting ready for their next console generation. They're spicing things up. They're making it fresh.
Yeah, I think that sign has just been outdated for some time. It was like that corporate gray. Was it white or was it like kind of like? It
was
gray?
Like a grayish.
Yeah, it was just kind of there. They've really adapted to like the Nintendo Red moniker. It's like in all of their stuff has been for years. So I think they're just updating. I think it looks a lot better. It's definitely more significant, to look at and sticks out more. But yeah, it's just news because anything Nintendo does is news.
Kyle the Pug asks, who has been your favorite 1,000-Year Door partner so far? For me, it has been Koops because he gives off Colorado vibes, who was also my favorite partner when I played Paper Mario 64. I did not know that Colorado was actually a character from Paper Mario 64. That was only name dropped in the 1,000-Year Door for me. Rip to his dad.
Koops is awesome.
I like Koops. Yeah, I like Koops a lot.
He's got a great look for a character that like everybody can get behind. Because the Koopa Troopa has got like the hoodie and stuff. Like it's very, filthy casual, kind of cool.
My newest party member is Flurry, and I like her. I thought she was really cool. Yeah, she's got like Southern mom hospitality type of energy.
Mm-hmm. My favorite character is usually my favorite Mario character, but I don't have him yet, and he comes later, and I'll just leave it like that.
Okay.
But most people know what I'm talking about. Usually my main. So
yeah. Jay says, with so many people buying games digitally, what do you predict the market will be for physical Switch games in 20 years?
What do you think, Rebecca?
I think we'll still be able to. I think Switch games or Switch, whatever. Oh, you mean like physical Switch games, like what the ones that we have on our shelves right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted the question. I think it'll be kind of like the Wii, where the games that everybody has will like not be worth anything. Like things like Breath of the Wild physical are not going to be worth anything. Things like Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, like the games that
what are the ones on
has.
Wii that you're saying are similar, like Mario Kart? I'm trying to think of like what's the Wii equivalent to Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Like Wii Fit.
Okay.
Like games that everybody had.
Sure.
There were hundreds of them made. All of like the third parties, like shovelware.
I feel like
people don't care about.
Zeldas are Zeldas, right? They carry their own.
Yeah.
Even if they're popular and have a lot of them, they're still Zelda games.
But like, there's not even like a lot of Wii games that are super duper expensive. Like I feel like you saw like a surge in the price of GameCube games because like a lot of people didn't have those.
Yeah. True.
I don't think that there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be terribly many Switch games in 20 years that are worth like more than $100.
Interesting. That is.
Do you disagree?
I think so, but I'm not even sure. That's the reason why I asked you first, because I think there are Switch games now that are already over $100. Like that are pretty collectible.
Well, I think the stuff that like limited run,
like they're like rare prints and stuff. Yeah,
like that kind of stuff. Sure.
What if you got that cartridge that had like 1,000 games on it? What if you're one of those people? Remember that?
No.
It's that indie label. There's put every one of their games on the cartridge, like the green label, right?
Annapurna did that.
Yeah, it was like the Annapurna cartridge. It's just here's every Switch game.
Yeah, that'll be worth it because that's like a collector item. Like that's not like something you can go buy on. You're
talking mass market, mass appeal sort of thing.
Yeah,
I gotcha. I'll try to look up here.
I'm trying to buy Prince of Persia for $25 at GameStop right now.
Nice.
That's my price point that I'm settling on.
Mario Party 9 for the Wii, based on this article I'm looking at, which came out last year, sells for $55 used, and goes for $160 if you have it new.
Really? Are people buying that?
The Last Story new is $125 on eBay.
Okay. Well, I think there will be some like that.
Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, new copy on Wii. It's the game I used to have. $285
What?
it was selling for at this point. Now I have no idea if any of these are true or like still true.
Right.
Dokapon Kingdom, which I have never heard of until now, is a board game RPG hybrid. It was published by Atlas is known. Person Me Writing for Gold.
Stop.
Was selling last year for $90 because it's so limited. People are trying to complete their catalog.
Oh my god.
I honestly don't necessarily disagree with you. I think I don't know. I think is maybe where I would go with that.
Mhm.
I was maybe wanting to hear from you as to what you think like the future of physical games are 20 years from now, not necessarily the actual Switch games on our shelves now. Because I think it's inevitable that we're all heading for like libraries that we buy access to. I don't know if it's going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, but it just seems like it's inevitable. As you look at like what we've done with Netflix and music and anything that can be done this way, I think we're looking at some point where here's a library of a bunch of games that you rent access to. Now, my question is, what do we think that does to any legacy physical copies? Because like you said, GameCube, you can emulate GameCube very easily today. And that has not stopped anybody from going absolute apeshit on trying to collect them at the most expensive price.
Well, yeah,
possible.
there's a difference. There, playing games and collecting games are two separate hobbies.
True. I do wonder if we get into a world where everything is some sort of, app-based digital delivery service, even for stuff that's regularly available, regular in print, sold well. I do wonder if the value goes up for it. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I'll use like old cars. Right? Like I've got this old car. That car is just going to continue to appreciate because there's just less and less of them. And it doesn't matter how many better cars come out and digital cars and electric cars and we move,
People
like
want them.
people want the old one, like they still want it. And I think as we continue to move towards the space, the DRM license space of like everything's going to be Steam. Steam's just like way ahead of the game. Everything will eventually be Steam. Like they'll all have our own Steam things. It'll all be like Steam. I do think if you've got hardware, if you've got some sort of case box copy, I think there'll be people that really want that stuff. And I would expect it, even if it's not a lot, I would expect it to go up. And I think the market will be pretty strong.
That's a good point. And 20 years is a long time.
It is a really long, like that's essentially where we are now with
2004. Yeah, good point.
And the other thing about this is that it is a little weird with Nintendo because like they made this switch to ARM. And my bigger tech question, not that I want to focus so much on the tech, is like, how long do you expect Nintendo to stick here with this very mobile, like tablet-based architecture? Now, I want to put a caveat in there. That architecture is more and more becoming just the architecture. Like laptops are starting to adapt it, phones, tablets. So like maybe they were just way ahead of the game, but like how long do you expect them to stick here with this sort of thing? Because if they transition and go to something else, that could make Switch stuff go even crazier.
Yeah, that is true. It's easy right now to say for a long time.
Yeah.
But who knows
what do they do after the
Switch
Switch 2 generation? I mean, obviously, I think that depends on how well Switch 2 goes.
And it depends on what people's lifestyles look like in 20 years.
Yeah. Like they could go to some AR, VR glasses nonsense, some AI powered cloud box or something. Like we don't really know what the future holds.
We're all going to have Elon Musk's Neuralinks in our brains and we're going to be gaming in our brains instead of
I don't think anybody wants this, so I'm not trying to put this out there, but I'm just giving an example. It does not sound crazy at all if like 15 years from now, all of Nintendo's games are easily accessible and buyable and playable via the App Store on devices you already have, right?
I feel like Nintendo is not going to be as willing to do that kind of thing.
Of course. I'm just saying, like, there's a possibility. There's an existence where that's true.
Sure.
Right. Stuff like that could really make the hardware like you want to keep it for a while.
Well, listen, I saw that Apple is going to be rolling out something for the iPhones with eye tracking where, you can, it's great strides for accessibility where you can navigate the phone completely with just your eyesight. Imagine that being implemented into games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's been a thing. Like PlayStation's doing that, their eye tracking with their VR thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of like, people are like, yeah, you're not going to do that to a helmet and stuff, but eventually it won't be a helmet. And that's the thing, right? Like technology moves so fast, you'll break away from all of those things and eventually become convenient and attainable and cheap to do. And then what does that have? Like, what does that mean? I think that's where we are. Like, what does AI mean for gaming? What does cloud mean for gaming? Like, what does streaming mean? There is an intersection that's coming at some point that's going to change a lot of this because like the delivery is kind of antiquated. You give us $500 and $70 a piece and you get to play our games. Like that's not going to stand around for long. We are a very specific generation that came up with that and adhere to that. The ones behind us haven't and don't.
Yeah. The kids today, they it's different now.
Right. And then like, and like I said, I could totally see, Nintendo striking a partnership and like play your favorite Mario game in Disney Plus. Like that doesn't sound like a crazy thing to me in the future. So it's a fascinating question. I don't think there's like decades left of like hardware and physical games. I guess this to bring it back to your question, Jay, that'd be like my answer. I don't think there's decades ahead of us of gaming dedicated hardware and physical games.
I don't think so either, but I think that companies like Limited Run will continue to do it as much as they can.
Oh, I agree.
I was in Barnes & Noble this weekend and like the vinyl section was bigger than the CD section.
Yeah, there will be a demand. I like thinking like this. I love thinking of like philosophical what ifs and things. Do you think people treat games, and I know you don't, I know like you and I, we don't. I think the masses, they treat games as much more disposably than like they do music. Would you agree with that? Mm-hmm. And I wonder, what does that mean? Like, can you go, well, like vinyl came around, so will games. I'm like, I don't know if necessarily if that lines up, if those apples are apples and apples.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't care. They delete games and move on and throw them in the trash. Like games are very disposable to most people, not us. We like building little shelves and having them on display. Mm-hmm. Like everybody that comes to our houses see our favorite things, but that's not normal. Like that's very abnormal. Most people, that's why you see the mobile takeover and Candy Crush. And that's why when you talk about game preservation, that's why so many tens of thousands of games are not preserved and have not been preserved, because a lot of people don't care.
You know what else is like, as far as the disposability, is that a word? Part of it is those like .io games.
Yeah.
For kids are so they're playing a different one every day because they're free, they're in browser.
Yeah.
They'll all be playing like this dragon game one day, and then the next day they'll all be playing a different one. Like they're free and they're very low budget and they're very janky. And
so I would expect game makers, and specifically Nintendo, because like that is their business, I would expect them to adapt to that. They will adapt to the market and they'll meet them where they are. Right. And I think that'll do I think there will be definitely collectability, but there may even be a rarity, a scarcity for hardware that can play dedicated video games in the future.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if you can count on Limited Run to keep printing cartridges and stuff like that, because I think that
because they won't be able to for IP that
if they don't have enough numbers.
Yeah.
right? That just the market there is going to be, I think it's already limited. Like they're probably on, just super sharp, margins.
Probably.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine like I got the Clock Tower collector's edition. How many of those do we actually think they're going to sell?
You're going to get number 1
of 8
of 8.
And like I know it'll sell more than that, but like it's not going to sell. It won't sell 5,000 copies, right? Like no, I don't think anybody's 5,000. That seems like a lot for something like that. Yeah, I don't know. What a question. I don't even know if that's the question, but like what a place that we went with that question.
Yeah, you could talk about it for a whole
You really can, because it feels like we're in a crossroads.
Yeah.
Like generationally, we're coming up against something. You see it. It's been kind of all the rage for like the last couple months. Is all the hardware makers are talking about how fewer and fewer people are either upgrading or not buying hardware, and how hardware, like they're still making a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a doom and gloom thing, but the console doesn't seem to be taking off as well as it used to before. And that's a measurable thing. So I wonder what Nintendo's thinking about that, seeing the others, right? That's where you got to think that they're going to come in with that hard cutoff. If you want to play the new game, you got to buy the new Switch, because they see Xbox and PlayStation going, no, you can play both games here, and their consoles aren't selling. And a lot of people say the reason they're not upgrading is because you can play Fortnite on it, you can play Call of Duty on it and stuff like that. I wonder where Nintendo's head is when they see something like that. They've got a task getting people to leave.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see. Where are we? Tyler says, if Sony and Microsoft gave Nintendo one franchise of their own to create a new series, who would Sony send over and who would Microsoft send over? Bonus, what kind of game style fits the character you chose? I have my answers.
Shoot, I think your answers, can I guess your answers?
Yeah.
Astro and Banjo.
Okay, no and no, but those are also good answers.
Wow.
Sly Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
That counts. I know that's like not Sony made, but it's Sony exclusive, so I'm counting it. Because they're not doing anything with it. I'm like specifically thinking of franchises that they're not doing anything with. Okay.
Sure.
So give them Sly Cooper. Banjo actually was like my second answer for Microsoft, but I also thought of Viva Pinata. I've never played it before, but that feels like it could work on Nintendo. But maybe I do want to pick Banjo because they're not doing anything with either of those. Yeah,
I feel like, especially with the news this week, I feel like that'd be on the tip of everybody's tongues right now if they were asked this question. So it makes me want to give different answers.
There's also some perpetuated rumors about Banjo making a revival with Toys for Bob.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense, and I would hope that they're doing it. I do know that before the acquisition, Toys for Bob were working on a Spyro game. I assume that their contracted game with Microsoft is that same Spyro game. So if they are working on Banjo, I think they just started, and I would guess that they're not working on Banjo and that it's just not even in the works yet. It's like, and if Spyro does well, maybe we'll let you make a Banjo game. Like it could be years. But there
was a rumor, Donnie.
True. There's a path. There's a path there. Somebody give me some ideas. I feel like I can't think of anything all of a sudden. I'm kind of like just brain dead today.
Crash.
No, Crash could just go away. I've never liked Crash.
Little Big Planet
games. Yeah, that's where I was thinking. I'm just trying to think if there's something better. Because Little Big Planet is what I went to first. I love Sackboy.
Ape Escape. Ratchet and Clank. Oh, Parappa the Rapper.
Did you see the Parappa bot in Astro?
Yes, I did.
It's so adorable. It's so good. Yeah, I think it probably would be Sackboy, and I'll make Dev happy here. I think you could take Sackboy and send it over to Nintendo and let Nintendo have Little Big Planet, like whatever they've done with like Mario Maker and stuff and Little Big Planet, and you bring all that together, that'd be incredible. That'd be really, really good. On the Xbox side, I gotta say Ori.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Ori's incredible. And I hate that we picked 2 games that Nintendo has a bunch of and don't need any more, but like, what else are we gonna pick? You know, like, what am I gonna send Gears of War to Nintendo or something?
Flight Simulator.
Flight Sim. Oh my gosh. Hi-Fi Rush. Can we save Hi-Fi Rush and send it over to Nintendo?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Trying to think if I feel like there's got to be something else, like an IP. I don't know. PlayStation doesn't own like the Journey IP or anything like that, right? They just published it.
I wasn't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just doing like a exclusive.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't send like Uncharted over.
Conquer.
Conquer's good. Conquer is good. There's rumors, not that I want to, again, turn this into a PlayStation podcast. There's lots of rumors going around that a game we'll see at some point is a Lego Horizon game. Have you seen or read that?
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we talk about it in the Discord, I keep wondering, I 100% expect and know that like if Sony's doing this, it's going to be exclusive. But like in my head, I'm like, that's a game that I would put on I would put it on Switch.
Yeah.
And like get people into the franchise,
Horizon,
potentially
and
get them to buy.
Yeah,
you know, like in my head, I'm like,
good point.
That makes a ton. I would put that wherever kids are.
That is a good point.
Wherever they are.
And then, Mom, I really need a PlayStation 5 so I can play this game with this character that I like.
Yeah. Yeah. In my head, that's like, that makes all the sense in the world for me. But I just feel like we know better.
I changed my Xbox answer. I want Spyro.
Spyro is very good. I do love the Spyro. I've never been into the mainline Crash games, but I've always loved Spyro the Dragon. Now, I do love Crash Team Racing. Crash Kart is incredible.
Yeah.
So that's another one I could pull over.
I think you convinced me to buy that one. And
It's really good. Did you play it?
I played some of it.
It's more competitive than your normal kart racer.
Yeah.
Like it's way
I would
more
probably like it
than
if
like
I
Mario Kart or stuff. But you got to be really into it.
Yeah.
You got to go boost hopping and stuff. And when you see like good Crash Kart player, you're like, oh my god, like it's kind of insane. But yeah, it's very good.
Speaking of kart, DJ wants to know, other than Mario Kart, any recommendations for games parents can play with teens?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It does depend. How much is your teen into games?
How much are you into games?
How much are you into games? Very good. It goes both ways. Because if you're not or they're not, then you want to stay something that's like more casual and easy to pick up. You play like Clubhouse games, Mario Party, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Captain Toad has a very easy co-op. Mario, like any of the 2D Marios all have co-op. Those are all easy. Now, if your teenager plays video games and you play video games and you're both capable, then my answer was always Streets of Rage 4. Me and Jack played it. We went and played through it together. We had a blast of a time. Why do you laugh? Beat 'em ups are great co-op games. That applies to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. But Streets of Rage 4 is awesome, and it should be played. And if you're into that and you want to have a good time, go break some heads.
That's so funny. It's not what I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
It wasn't that.
It wasn't that.
Smash Ultimate.
Smash is not bad. There's that It Takes Two game, which is one of the best co-op games ever made. But you got to really, both people got to really know what they're doing and be able to navigate that together.
Human Fall Flat.
Oh, you go more of the funny route?
Yeah, that's a game anybody can play.
Jackbox also comes to mind.
I would never play Jackbox with my parents. That sounds.
Did you
like
see
a
that they're making an adult themed Jackbox? Like
it's already adult themed.
No, they're making like a sex one.
It already is a sex one. If your answer isn't come to every single thing, then you're playing Jackbox wrong.
I'm gonna buy it. I told my wife, she was like, yes. She got so excited.
Kate says, what day do you think the direct will be this month?
Ooh, let's pull up a calendar.
It's going to be the day that I have students on the last day of school where I can't do anything. And then there's some kid's going to have a meltdown, so I can't watch it. So it's going to be on the 12th or the 13th. You heard it here first. Because those are going to be the most inconvenient days for me to watch. And it's going to be in the morning. It's going to be in the morning.
Next week during summer game mess. I want it to be there so it feels like E3 again. But I'm expecting it not to be. I'm expecting them to just hold it and not play. Because I feel like if they were going to be a part of the event and they were going to do it, they would have already told us. They would have announced it.
Yeah.
So like in my head, I want it to be the 11th. The day after Ubisoft. Like that's the day it's supposed to be.
Oh wait, is that the day of the Summer Games Fest?
I think Summer Games Fest
10th?
starts this weekend. So it'd be like the 8th and the 9th. So I think the Xbox show is the 9th. So that's next Sunday. And then Ubisoft, I think, is that Monday because they usually go the day after Xbox. In my head, then the day after that would be Nintendo. So I'm going to say, what day do you think it'll be on?
I'm telling you, it's either going to be Wednesday the 12th or Thursday the 13th at 10 a.m.
So I'm going to go.
That's going to be the most inconvenient time for me.
So I'm going to go Thursday the 27th.
Wow.
The day I'm going to pick. Wasn't it late last year?
I don't know.
I felt like it was like rarely it was so at the back end of the month, people were expecting it not to even happen.
Let me look.
And they did get something out there, like I think right at the end. But yeah, I wish it was Tuesday. If it's next week, it'd be amazing because it would be nice to just get it in with all the other gaming news.
Oh, yeah, it was June 21st.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe the 20. I don't see. That's the thing is I don't know what day they would hold it on. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like we know it won't be on Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. I think Thursday. Thursday makes sense in my head. So Thursday the 27th. That's my pick.
We didn't have a January direct this year or February.
We didn't?
We had a partner showcase
That's
in
right.
February and a Pokemon Presents in February, but we didn't have a normal Nintendo Direct. Like, you know how people say we always have one.
That's what the only thing that I remember.
February, January, February.
The only thing that I remember about last year is I remember I kept telling everybody that like we don't know that they're going to have one because like Summer Games Fest was like a disaster. And I was like, we all expect one, but we don't know. Like it could be July or August. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
And they just got it in there right at the end. Because everybody like what you just said, everybody was like, it'll be on the 12th. It'll be on the 14th. I was like, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel the same way. But like, what do you think about that? Do you agree? I feel like if they were going to be a part of Summer Games Fest, like Ubisoft, like Xbox, if they're going to be in that week with everybody else, when they had their earnings call and the president was like, we'll have a direct next month, I think they would have said that. Do you agree with that or no? If they still have time, they could say it's like Monday. They could be like, we're going to have a direct next week. But I feel like they would have told us already.
Do you think maybe they're waiting to see what the other presentations are like to decide if they want to like be like, okay, we're going to do it tomorrow? If they want to wait, space it out a little bit?
I think they want to wait just to have their own time.
Yeah.
They want everybody to talk about Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think that's more than anything. I think they just want to wait. I think they can wait.
They want to make sure they're the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think they do it before Mario. I mean, before Luigi comes out. Wait a minute. When does Luigi come out? 27th? Did I pick the same day? I think I picked the same day. Luigi's the 27th, so not the 27th. I'm going to change my answer.
Before
the 20th. I'm going to change my answer. Go a week early.
I hope so. That would be super convenient for me because I won't have work.
Yeah. Unless somebody wants to, like, if Jeff wants to, I don't know. I don't think Jeff could give them money to do it, but I don't know. I don't know.
Jeff's been on a parade this past week.
I don't know why they would. The last couple of years, they haven't been a part of the event. I don't know why you would expect them to be a part of it now. I guess is maybe,
I don't know. Makes sense.
And I hate that because I wish it was Tuesday 11th at noon, like it was for 15 years.
I'm good with waiting because it's more convenient for moi.
Yeah. I mean, selfishly, I wish it was like a Saturday at like 3 o'clock, like
Yeah.
quit doing this stuff on like Wednesday at noon and stuff. People have jobs. They're like, the
That's
kids
why
are
they're
out of-
doing it, because they have jobs and they need to be ready for everything.
Good point.
Jamie says, how would you grade Nintendo's year thus far? I feel like they really need to show some games soon. Without Paper Mario, it's an F. With
Oof.
Paper Mario, it's a B.
Wow. With Paper Mario, I would say it's probably like a C plus, but maybe like a B minus, only because it's just like a lot of ports, it's like, I like them. It's too hard to get too excited. I think they've had a fine year. I think it helped them a lot that they had something like Prince of Persia come along, and something like these indie games that just came out that everybody's fawning over. What's the well one or whatever that everybody's
Animal
loving?
Well.
Animal Well. There we go. I was going to say Catwell or something. Cat in a Well. I was like, that's not it. So they're really living off of those things, which is helping them. But I really liked Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and I love Thousand Year Door, so I'm okay. Here's the thing: it's all about expectations. If you're grading against other years, it's not going to be that great. The issue is that we all knew this year was coming. They're going to a new system, so can't expect a whole lot. So with those expectations in check, it's okay. They've had a good year. I think they've done enough to get to pass the time. So hopefully we'll see more. How many games do you think they'll have for this year?
Including remakes?
Yeah, just new games to buy. Remakes, ports, whatever.
That we don't know about yet? Because we know.
Yeah, like in this direct, if you had to put like a number, like over under, how many Nintendo games, not like counting.
They'll show Luigi's Mansion.
Sure.
They'll show that stupid game, World Champion game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, I forgot all about that. People were hyped about that. They bought NES controllers and cartridges and all kinds of shit. You got World Championships coming back. Get excited.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess.
The only Nintendo podcast that was like not that enthused by that.
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 2.
Is that an addition?
Mm.
Either or.
Jeff has been saying he thinks Metroid Prime comes out and it's like the swan song for the system. I think that makes sense, but I don't believe it, because I would be like, you're launching new hardware. Why would you send that game out like that? I don't know. Like I'm conflicted. I'm torn on that idea. I would save that game for the new hardware. I would. I don't know what the hell Nintendo's going to do, but if it were me, I would save it to launch the new hardware.
Plucky Squire.
Yep.
Hollow Knight after it's revealed for, at Summer
Everything
Games
else.
Fest. There's a couple other things nobody cares about. You got like 10 things.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm expecting. And I am just really hoping that like of those 10 or 15 things that we get a couple Zeldas that'll make most of us happy. We can bide our time playing some Zeldas. Games we already have, we're happy to buy again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Excuse me. Okay, I really like this next question. Spencer says, do you think Nintendo should make a game like Astrobot that revisits all of their past franchises and consoles? If so, which character or franchise would you do it with? And please don't say Mario. There's a very easy answer to this. Kirby.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Kirby is the one that you would do that with. I mean, they already do this with Smash, but obviously it's not the same thing. When I first read the question, I thought Kirby, but then I thought, but what about Donkey Kong? Being like the OG, like the one, like you could do something like that, like a play on time.
I can see that.
I would love to see.
Donkey Kong's quirky enough.
Could you imagine like a 2D Donkey Kong game that had Nintendo IP like flavored worlds or levels that you played through?
That would be cool.
That would be
Each level
cool,
is a different franchise kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a Donkey Kong Country and stuff. That would be.
It's
really
like
fun.
he gets sucked into like a Nintendo console and has to go through levels from every console, from every game.
He gets zapped into like an arcade cabinet, and you just like go like, what if it's like in chronological order? You start from the arcade and you hit the NES and the Super. Like that would be really cool.
That would be.
But
like
in
that.
the in the style of Astro Bot. If you're going to swap out that game with, it'd be Kirby. Kirby would be the one.
Yep. 2 more questions for today, and then we're going to save the rest. Smoke and Joe says, if the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports are launched with the Switch 2, do you guys think that would help the Switch 2's launch, or do you think Nintendo already has enough hype for the new console? I don't think that will help with the Switch 2's launch. In fact, I think that would be detrimental for them to do instead of a new game, because it didn't launch with it, but what came out very early on in the Wii U days? Wind Waker HD. Yep. And that didn't help it.
Correct. I think history has shown us that the Wii U was just damned. You could put anything on it and it wouldn't help. I agree with you for different reasons, I think. One, you're not doing those games a whole lot of service. I think the time to put those games out is now. I understand, like I brought up ideas and people thought like maybe you could save it and 4K Zelda and all that stuff. You have mass saturation with the Switch right now. There's 150 million potential people to buy something. Put those games out now. You need software. Put them out now and let them sell. And maybe you can sell 6, 8, 10 million copies of it. I don't know what those games would do. What did Skyward Sword do? Any idea? Did do a lot?
I can tell you.
So that's just where I am. I think you put those games out now. You need them now, and they bide you over, and you get there. Also, I don't think those games. You're talking about ports of ports at this point. I don't think those games do a whole lot to sell Switch 2. And then ultimately, my point, Spencer or Smoke and Joe, sorry, is that I think Switch 2 is going to sell on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't need anything to sell. They're going to have games to sell it. Like,
yeah, but it needs new games. It doesn't.
It needs new games, exactly, and they're going to have them. But the Switch doesn't need like that to sell. It's going to sell.
Skyward Sword actually outsold the original. It sold 4.15 on Switch, 3.67 on Wii.
So,
That's unusual.
I think a Wind Waker would sell more than that. I would hope Wind Waker would sell more than 4 million copies. Maybe you could get to 6 or 7, especially if it's a double pack. I could see them doing something like that.
Wind Waker sold 4.43 on GameCube and 2.37 on Wii U,
secretly hope,
which is a lot.
I secretly hope that they're doing something to make this like really special, and it's not just like a port. Like, it would be great if it was like a Zelda Master Collection or something. Like, maybe they've got a 2D or something to throw in there.
It's a port.
Yeah, it's just here's the games. I mean, I'm going to buy them anyway, but it would be really fun if they did something,
and it's going to be
out of it.
It's going to be less good than the Wii U version because it's not going to have the gamepad for the map, and it's not going to have the tingle bottles. They're not going to replace it with anything. They're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah, you're probably right. But they're better games. They are better than Skyward Sword by a long margin. So I will definitely buy them and be hyped, be excited. I'm telling you, Wind Waker HD on an OLED is going to blow people's freaking minds if they ever do it.
It looks so good on
it looks so good
OLED.
I'm telling you, exactly.
Like, amazing. Like, talking about it makes me want to open it up.
Beautiful game. I love that game so much, which I don't want to go off on a tangent for. But
all right.
The Switch 2 is going to launch with a Mario game, and that's all it needs, because there's a pent-up demand for Switch 2. It's going to sell. They're selling 20 million of those things as soon as possible. There are 20 million people ready to buy one. Yep. So
here's our last question for today. If we didn't read your question, we will get to it next week. And this is also relevant to what we were just talking about. You didn't write a name for this one, so I don't know who asked it.
That's from the Discord. That's my bad. Hang on. See if I can
that's okay. I'll read it and then we'll find out. What one single upgraded feature do you want the Super Switch to have above all else? Also, thank you for calling it the Super Switch.
It's TPR, I think.
TPR. For me,
Super Meta Boy.
Super Meta Boy. For me, it's the ability to watch Disney Plus and Netflix. But he says there can only be one. You need to pick one single upgraded feature. Here's some inspiration. He listed a whole bunch of stuff. Do you want me to read that or no?
Yeah.
Okay. He gave some ideas. A better GPU, bigger screen, 2 screens, 3 or more screens. Jesus Christ. More ergonomic, improved eShop, themes, proper folder implementation, special editions or more colors, ability to run Discord, Game Pass, some random Nintendo motion gimmick thingy.
You can only pick one.
I want faster load times because I am the TikTok
That's
girl
amazing.
who cannot wait for 2 seconds while her Animal Crossing save loads. Please make it happen instantaneously.
My answer was going to be faster, bigger memory bus, which would be your load times.
Yeah, wow, we have the same answer.
It's not just load times though. My answer is that because that's really that's the throttle on Switch on the frame rates is the memory speed and what like they can stream in assets. That's why Switch has so much pop in. That's why the load times are so long. That's why it does hold back performance. I think you fix that. You like if you could slap an SSD into our Switch now, that alone would be a market improvement. Like you could sell a revision off of that alone.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting the Switch 2 in that regard it's going to be a wonderful like night and day difference. You're going to pick that thing up and be like, how did we ever play on the old thing? And that above everything else is the thing that I'm most excited about. You could literally give me the same screen, the same GPU, but just do that and I would buy it.
Same.
My answer, and I will cheat. My second answer that I thought of was backwards compatibility, but I just think that's going to be there. So
I was going to say, is that not a given?
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick it, because I think it's a given. But I do think that's like the most important. I think for most people, that's the most important thing. If they didn't, could you imagine they announced Switch 2 and it's not backwards compatible? There will be fury on the internet. People will lose their minds. I can't imagine. I don't think it could happen.
I find it interesting that his answer is the ability to watch Disney Plus and Netflix.
I get it. It's so funny. As Hyrule Nate says, I never understand why people want all these streaming apps because that's. I mean, I get it. You really don't get it. Everybody wants those things.
I use my PlayStation almost exclusively for that.
A lot of people don't have two, or just want the other ones. You know, I use
because I don't have a smart TV.
Yeah, I'm fascinated that Nintendo hasn't delved into that realm at all. What do we have? We have Hulu and YouTube, right? That's it. Like apps, I think. Like they just like coming off the Wii U, where they had a whole damn remote, and we're talking about how they could do your TV guide and shit. And like they really just did not care. It's interesting because I get it. I don't think many people care because everybody carries a device that can do Netflix. It's on your phone. It's on your damn.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch Netflix on my phone. I'm doing other stuff on my phone because I have the attention of a goldfish.
Sure, and I get that you don't. But the Switch is portable. And I think for that reason alone, especially with the kids, I think there is something there where you should be able to put Netflix on your Switch and be able to like download episodes to it. You could play it on the go and watch it.
I would like that.
Yeah. I think that's why some people want it.
Yeah,
I think if my kids had that, they would have used their Switches more than they already did, I think.
Yeah. A lot of people have iPads for that.
Yeah, I think that's why Nintendo hasn't done it. I think that would be Nintendo's answer, is you already have a thing for that. Yeah. But my response to them would be, but you could be the thing for that. You're right, but you could be that thing. Mm-hmm. So
I liked that we had the same answer.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said it, actually. I was like, oh my God. Well, Nikolai here says the 3DS had Netflix. Yes, it did. I remember.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a Netflix Wii disc.
I think I remember you saying that.
I do. Yeah. I have one still.
Yeah, that's fun. All right, everybody else, we'll get to your questions next week. Is it safe to say we probably won't get the direct this week?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be this week. But to be excited, I do think we'll get Delvin next week.
Delvin, I miss him.
I don't want to speak for him, but I think I think maybe next week. I think he might be back.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, I am gonna go play. Probably, I want to go play more Paper Mario, but I'm probably gonna go play more Splatoon before I do that. And then I'm gonna curse and get mad and like
got you so
and then
bad.
I'm gonna get grumpy. I'm gonna get in a bad mood.
You're like, this is this good, great game I love, but I'm gonna go play this thing.
I know. It's horrible.
Splatoon 2.5 or whatever.
Seriously. All right, Koopalings. Be safe. Be happy. We'll see you next week.
Deuces. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?